It takes time and effort to reconcile a marriage. It's even harder when one person is choosing to reconcile and the other one has one foot still out the door. When you make the decision to reconcile with your spouse, you have to make the decision and not second guess your decision. What's good, y'all? Tasha here. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about what it might look like to reconcile your marriage. I didn't say this was going to be easy because your spouse may fight you the whole way. So you have to be realistic in your journey because that's what the path to reconciling is. It's a journey. Your spouse may test you and put you in a situation just to see if you really changed. And that's why I talk a lot about working on yourself, because the moment your spouse senses that you haven't changed, or if they sense that your changes are fake, you're gonna be back at square one. It's like Monopoly. You don't pass go, you don't collect $200. If you find that you and your spouse are starting to talk to one another, you're spending a little bit more time together, maybe doing some other things, don't confuse that with forgiveness. Don't think that just because they're sleeping with you that they actually forgive you. Yes, actions do speak louder than words, but usually when we lean on intimacy, there's an aspect of the relationship that we are just missing. What you want is you actually want them to tell you that they want to work things out and that they want the marriage back to where it was before, or better, anew. And the reason why you want verbal consent, even though in your mind you may think, well, we're sleeping together again, so that must mean everything is okay. Not necessarily, because even though you guys are intimate, like I said, they could just be missing that part of the relationship. And it's easier because, well, you guys are married. They don't have to go out and try to seduce someone else or try to find someone else. And the reality is that even though you guys are intimate, they still may want a divorce and they still may not want to work on the marriage. So think about what's wrong in your marriage. It could be a multiple of things. It could be just something was the last straw and after that you two decided, let's just separate. But let's just do the basics. So was it communication that was wrong? Was it lack of intimacy? Is there a third party, or was there a third party? Or maybe family members might have been too involved in your relationship. Now ask yourself, what are the solutions that you're going to come up with for these so-called problems? Just for a second, put yourself in your spouse's shoes. What actions have you done that could have contributed to your relationship falling apart? It's easy for us to want to blame the other person, but we have to look in the mirror. We have to look at ourselves and we have to see what have we done for our marriage to be in the state that it's in. You can let your spouse know that you're gonna work on yourself and that you want to work on the marriage. At least let them know your intentions, but understand that this may also be met with, they don't care, they're not trying to work on the marriage. Just know that it may be met with negativity depending on where you guys are right now in your marriage and in your separation, if you're separated. These could have been promises that you made before. You made a mistake and then you're just like, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. But you continuously do it again. So understand that if you're trying to make your marriage work and they heard this promise before, it's definitely gonna be met with some negativity. But don't let their feelings deter you if you know you are truly gonna make these changes because you really want to save your marriage. But like I always say in my videos, like, you have to also be okay with not getting what you want. Understand that all the work that you do, and even if you do make changes, you may not bring your marriage back together if your spouse is adamant about getting a divorce or about leaving. Basically, you just have to let go of any expectations and be patient with not only yourself, but also with your partner. Any true reconciliation actually takes time. When people separate and then maybe a month or two later, or even 3 months, they get back together, if they haven't been working on themselves, even in that short time, the reconciliation is not going to stick. I once heard a marriage guru actually say that we shouldn't create boundaries in our relationships because those boundaries actually pushes our partner away. I completely disagree. Boundaries in a relationship actually teaches people how they should treat us. And a lot of times what ends up happening is, I think I said this in another video, we have these boundaries in the beginning of our relationships, but then it's like when we get married, we drop those boundaries. Those boundaries should never be dropped. Should they be adjusted? Should they be changed? Maybe, depending on your boundaries. But we should never take boundaries out of a relationship, because even a marriage, because those boundaries tell our partner, this is what I am and this is what I'm not going to put up with, period. And as you're going through this reconciliation journey, you should also Keep your promises to yourself and keep your promises to your spouse. And be careful what promises you make also. If you know you make a promise that you can't keep or that you know you're gonna break, don't make the promise. Only make promises that you know you can stick to and that you know you're not going to break. If you really get into this process and you really start this process to reconcile your marriage also, just know it's going to be hard and don't give up. Because like I said, your spouse may give you a very hard time. But if you know that you can reconcile your marriage, then don't give up when those times get hard. Always be realistic with yourself and look for solutions to whatever problems that you have. You might have to take them one at a time if it's many. A lot of times, like I said, it's not usually one thing that breaks up a marriage. It's usually a buildup of multiple things that actually ends a marriage. But we can only remember maybe one or two things that we say, oh, this is the reason why I'm leaving, or this is the reason why our marriage broke up, when it might actually be a million things. But you just have to take everything slow. So if communication is one of the problems that you have, work on communication. Then if boundaries is one of the issues that you have, work on setting boundaries. Just work on everything one at a time. Don't try to fix everything all at once, because you probably don't even know, honestly, what needs fixing. But just know it's going to be work and you're going to have to put in the work. So I hope this video helped you guys. If you want to see more videos like this, you could check out my Save Your Marriage playlist, which I'll actually put in the card. And remember, love yourself, adore yourself, and always be yourself. Thank you, and I hope I get to see you guys in the next video.